notte, giorno, fatticar, per chi nulla sa gradir, piova e vento sopportar, mangiar male, mal dormir. Voglio far il gentiluomo, e non voglio più servir, e non voglio più servir. No, 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 non voglio più servir.
Hey, Dawn. Hey, Mary. How you doing? Wow, the light is really bright.
Oh, che caro galantuomo, vuoi star dentro con la bella ed io far la sentinella, la sentinella.
Hey, what's up, Dave? Buonasera.
Voglio far il gentiluomo, e non voglio più servir, e non voglio più servir. No, 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 non voglio più servir. Ma mi fa che venga gente, ma mi fa che venga gente, non mi voglio far sentire, no, non mi voglio far sentire, non mi voglio far sentir, no, 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 mi voglio far sentir.
Something like that. All right, there it is. I forgot to play the ukulele while I was yelling my ass off there. Anyway, I don't know why that came to mind, but that was the opening. That's the opening scene of Don Giovanni. And wait, Mobius, what does that mean? I wouldn't normally do that, but I gotta say, what does that comment mean? Anyway, all right. Mobius, explain yourself, please. Yeah, so that's the opening moment of Don Giovanni, where this character Leporello, who's like sidekick to the protagonist. He's hanging out outside of a kind of a palace while his boss is inside committing a sexual assault, and he's standing guard like he always does, and he's complaining about standing guard. Oh, thank you. Thanks, Mobius. Now I understand. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you for explaining, putting my concerns to rest. Yeah, so it's a weird thing because I did that part in. By the way, good evening. Hello, everyone. Hello, Mobius. Hello, Dawn. Hello, Mary. Hello, Kathy. Hello, Bruce. Hello, Dave. Hello, everybody. Bonsoir. Yeah, so that guy comes out with that beautiful. It's a great opening moment. It's weird because that part. So I only did that once because normally. Thank you, Mobius, for explaining because it looks like the opposite in print. It looks like the opposite. It was a little bit of a you should let these things roll off your back. But I'm a sensitive performer. Hey, Bruce, nice to see you. So I did a bunch of productions of that opera back in the day when that was my career, but I would usually sing the part of the commendatore, who famously, in that opening scene, he interrupts while his daughter is the one getting sexually assaulted by Don Giovanni, and then they have a duel, and he gets killed by Don Giovanni, and then 2.5 hours later he comes back as a ghost. Niente, non ti preoccupare. All's good. Um, so he comes back 2.5 hours later as kind of like a statue that comes to life and uh, ends up avenging the death of his daughter. And anyway, it's a great story. It's a great opera. It's really, maybe it's, definitely one of the best. But the part I usually got to sing was that guy, the stat. He comes back as he gets killed, then he comes back as a statue, a talking statue. Then he becomes like a sort of like a satanic statue who then comes to life and drags Don Giovanni down to hell in the final scene. It's a great part. It's a great show. But the one production where I got, it's not a great fit. That opening little bit that I just sang is sort of a really good fit for my voice. But there's a lot of stuff in that part of Leporello is his name. That just it wasn't quite right. So anyway, I did it once. How does he avenge her death, Mary? Okay, spoiler alert. If you're gonna go see the opera, it's about 250 years old. So you have no excuse for having not seen it already since it's been out for 250 years. But in case you missed it, no, I'm kidding. You might not have seen it. How does he avenge her death? He basically gets Don Giovanni in a death grip. He shakes his hand and he says, "Well, it's like me and the Fantastics." I said, I never got around to seeing the Fantastics, which I sang that little bit that September. Try to remember that number. It was playing for 30 or 40 or 50 years. I never got around to seeing it. No excuses. But this is even worse. It's been playing for 250 years. And there are movies of it. There's some really good movies of it. But it's good to see it live, to hear it live. Anyway, so the commandant, that's the character. He gets Don Giovanni in a death grip and he says, "Repent. Repent for what you did. Repent." It's a great moment where he says, "Repent." And he says, "No." He says, "Repent." He says, "No. Repent." It's like two toddlers having an argument, only this is an existential argument about his mortal soul. And well, to his credit, Don Giovanni, who's this, who's a grab him by the, he's to his credit, he at least doesn't repent. He dies how he lived, like he's really cocksure and he's arrogant and he just says no and then gets dragged down to hell. It's pretty great. And then because it's a oh, that's interesting, Kathy. The Fantastics were mentioned in Rosemary's Baby. That makes sense because that was the period. Although I guess the period of the Fantastics is like the whole second half of the 20th century. But yeah. So then the other thing that happens, since I don't know why tonight's episode is turning into opera talk, just because I opened with that. It's just 2 pages in the score, but anyway. The funny thing that happens is after he gets dragged to hell, then suddenly the music changes and there's a bunch of characters on stage singing in beautiful, like major mode, very happy, because it's a comedy basically. So things turn out right in the end. And they sing a little sextet, I think, about how things turn out right. It happens in another one of his operas, probably more than another one, but another one that I was in, where it's called The Abduction from the Seraglio, where there's a nice sort of moment of revenge that's exacted on the bad guy, and then the 4 protagonists sing a beautiful little quartet. It's kind of like all's well with the world. We're going to end the show on a really nice musical upbeat. Bruce says, "I'm 65 and have never seen Led Zeppelin or the Rolling Stones." Well, the Stones you can still see. My sister and her family just saw the Stones last weekend in New Orleans at Jazz Fest. So the Stones are still doing it. That's incredible. I mean, They say it was just a great show. Those guys are in their 80s now, if I'm not mistaken, and we're still rocking. So, on the other hand, Led Zeppelin, you can't see them. That ship has sailed. Um, I'm going to scroll back. Neuro Geezer says, I thought that Leporello, that was the guy, the assistant, still thinks of Don Giovanni as a successful seducer rather than a rapist. I think he represents the antithesis. Um, I don't know. I think he's a rapist. You know what? There have to be tons and tons of essays, both like musicology and then psychology and historical stuff about what was really going on with that character. Because then he appears in all sorts of poems, and it's like this character that recurs in Western civilization. That Don Giovanni. Yeah. By the way, the guy who wrote those lyrics, this is an amazing story. So, okay, Jagger's 80. Thank you, Mobius, for confirming that. So yeah, it's a little bit much to say they're in their 80s, but they've just hit their 80s. So the guy who wrote the lyrics and the story for Don Giovanni and some of the other Mozart operas was a guy named Lorenzo Da Ponte. Lorenzo Da Ponte. And the funny thing about this guy, this is a great story about what happens to artists or people who pursue a creative life. So here we are, going on 300 years later, and his works are performed all the time. So, you would say by objective yardsticks, a giant success as a creative person, this Da Ponte. But in his lifetime, he had these collaborations with Mozart, but then he ended up actually as an Italian teacher at Columbia University. So he had to kind of make his way as a teacher, like so many artists do. There are a lot of blanks that you got to fill in that little version of his life story that I told, because I don't really know. I don't know much more about it. But I will say this. This was kind of another related thing. So in the summer of 2006, when I was learning that part to do it in a production, I went and studied it with this wonderful pianist and coach in Italy, and she was in the town called Vittorio Veneto. Vittorio Veneto. It's two towns that joined together to make this one town. And there's a statue in that town of Da Ponte, the guy who wrote the lyrics and the libretto, the play for that. So it's like it's his hometown. So that's kind of how I ended up knowing a little bit about that guy's life. I'm shamefully forgetting the name of that coach. Oh, Enza. Her name was Enza Ferraro. Enza. She passed away just a few years ago, but she was amazing. The only opera I've seen live is Tommy. Okay, I'll buy that. Robert Plant. Oh wow, Robert Plant still tours with a woman. Amazing. Neurogeezer points out that in the course of that opera, we never see Don Giovanni successfully seduce anyone. He's always thwarted. Right. There is the one character. There is one woman who's always like pining after him and singing about how much she loves him, and he's kind of putting her off. That's sort of like John Ritter in Three's Company. He's got these. We talked about that on the show maybe a month ago. How there were all these sitcom characters who were these guys, where they were getting all this attention from these women, and they weren't interested. So Da Ponte was writing that, a few centuries ago also. Zerlina. No, Zerlina is another character. She's the one who's like, she's like the youngster. She's the young hottie. She's getting married to her boyfriend, and Don Giovanni interrupts and tries to have his way with her. That's that famous. Anyway, there's that famous duet where he tries to drag her off to seduce her. Okay. Anyway, that's what's happening. I don't know why that popped to mind, but it did. Ba, 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 da, da, da. Totally unrelated. Oh, I had a very nice swim today. The water was a little bit choppy, but the water, I was mistaken. I thought the water, I might have said already that the water's already up above 50. It isn't. The water is 49. So the winter chill is still in the water up here in Massachusetts. But still beautiful, invigorating. A moment of politics, Movement Voter Project. Please look at the Movement Voter Project online. Movement Voter Project, movement.vote, www.movement.vote. Are you afraid of fascism? Are you worried that this democracy is coming to an end in a few short months? Well, you might be right. Do something today to help prevent that. Movement Voter Project, supporting grassroots organizations that get people to the polls. That's how we win, with turnout, because the other side, they're doing their darndest to shrink democracy. Let's expand democracy. And then we can have a fair reckoning. If we expand democracy and let everyone vote and the other side still wins, then we can say, okay, that was the real choice. But if they successfully gerrymander voters and voter ID voters out of the running, and then they purge voter rolls, and then they send their militias to the polls, their malicious militias, then we're not actually getting a vote that tells us what the people really want. So Movement Voter Project. Give the people what they want. All right. Yes, that is the famous duet. That's the one. And it's so played out. It's played out like Sinatra is played out at Italian restaurants. It's played out like Piano Man at a bar. It's played out like In the Air Tonight, the Phil Collins song on FM radio. That duet is played out. It's a good tune, but okay. Oh, this is the song I wanted to. Okay, this is from 1931. This number is from 1931. And then this number that I'm about to play for you is became a big hit again in 1968. So in 68, this song became a hit 37 years after it was first recorded. And the lyrics are by Gus Kahn. Now, Gus Kahn keeps coming up on this show. Gus Kahn, one of the giants. One of the giant lyricists of the 20th century. But the guys who wrote this song are Fabian Andre, and Wilbur Schwandt. Fabian Andre and Wilbur Schwandt wrote this song. I'm really creating a lot of suspense here. Wow, Don Dunn says, I knew and made posters for Jimi Hendrix in the 60s and 70s. Holy smokes. That is wild. I want to hear more about that, Don. Don, where are you? Yes, and Neuro Geezer, what was Jimi Hendrix like? That's incredible. And where are you located? I want to hear more about that. Okay. While we hear more about that. Fabian Andre Wilberschwant with the music, and Gus Kahn with the lyrics. I'm going to give this a whirl. A few people have suggested I sing this. So, stars shining bright. Let's do that again. Stars shining bright above you. Night breezes seem to whisper, I love you. Birds singing in the sycamore tree. Dream a little dream of me. Gornamont's popped awake when I said the word me. I don't know what he was thinking. Okay, Gornamont, this is going to be a lullaby I'm singing to you. Say nighty-night and kiss me. Just hold me tight and tell me you miss me while I'm alone and blue as can be. Dream a little dream of me. Dream a little dream of me. I apologize. That's terrible. That's just shameful. Dream a little dream of me. Stars fading, but I linger on, dear. Still craving your kiss. I'm longing to linger till dawn, dear. Just saying this. Oh boy, I'm going to have to work on this a little more. This was premature. Sweet dreams till sunbeams find you. Sweet dreams that leave all worries behind you. But in your dreams, whatever they be, dream a little dream of me. Stars fading, but I linger on, dear. Stars fading, but I linger on, dear. Still craving your kiss. I beg your. Thank you for your indulgence. I'm longing to linger till dawn, dear. Just saying this. Whew. Sweet dreams till sunbeams find you. Sweet dreams that leave all worries far behind you. But in your dreams, whatever they be, dream a little dream of me. Whew. Maron. I think that was the ghost of Lorenzo Da Ponte reaching down from heaven and smacking me around a little bit. Oh, Don, so it was your San Francisco days when you were doing those Hendrix posters. Very cool. Amazing. My God, I got to redeem myself, and I got to fix this song up and bring it back. Stars fading, but I linger on, dear. Still craving your kiss. I'm longing to linger till dawn, dear. Just saying this. Sweet dreams till sunbeams find you. Sweet dreams that leave all worries behind you. But in your dreams, whatever they be, dream a little dream of me. All right. Whew. Thank you. What else did I want to mention this evening? Oh, I wanted to mention some auditions. I had some bizarre auditions. I had an audition tonight for a print ad. I almost never do commercials. I almost never get commercial auditions, but I had a commercial audition. This is for a print ad for a pharmaceutical ad for a cancer drug. So what they're looking for is it's photos. It's a photo audition for people who've survived. And it was weird because, I had that thing last week where I posted a comedic vignette that was insulting to some people who had a particular, it wasn't intentionally insulting, it was a joke, but some people took offense. So I ended up taking it down. And then basically the same day I get this offer to do an audition for a cancer drug. That was kind of weird. So all right, so that audition happened, and then I also had such a fun thing happen today, which was a friend of mine who I met while rehearsing a play a few months ago. The play that ended up not happening, the play that got canceled. That was a bizarre story, but I was going to go to Argentina, where I've never been, and then I got cast in a play. We started rehearsing. I delayed, canceled the flights. And then the play got canceled. So then I was in New York with these. Anyway, I have a year to use those tickets. 10 months now. But I met another actor in those rehearsals, a guy named Max. Very funny, really good actor. And today I helped him with an audition for a play. The play it's an incredible play. It's a farce. Just super funny. So we worked on the scene a lot. We did a lot of takes. It was a Zoom self-tape audition, so I was reading the other parts while he was auditioning. We did lots of takes. It was lots of fun. And then we very quickly, in the space of about 7 minutes, banged out 3 takes of the audition. I was auditioning for a film for the role of a character. The character I was auditioning for, the name of my character was Middle-Aged Man. So a middle-aged man who's kind of a curmudgeon who's selling some stuff at a garage sale. That's the scene. So that was that audition. It was kind of fun. It can be fun doing an audition when there's zero pressure. That's what that situation was. Leslie says, don't sell your soul to Big Pharma. Oh, this isn't Big Pharma. This is Little Pharma. This is Old McDonald's Pharma. It's a tiny little pharma with a researcher here and a researcher there. No, I just do the auditions. These are all, it's like playing the lottery. This could be a good opportunity. Now I wonder which company. You know what? I don't think it really is a great opportunity because it's not like I'm making a living or getting a ton of creative satisfaction out of commercials. It's not something I've done much of, and I could take it or leave it. But I like to do all the auditions that come my way. All the auditions that come my way. Ice-T had a great quote about that, and then I got to talk to him when I worked on SVU. He had a great quote when he was interviewed by Howard Stern, talking about doing every audition, just do the jobs. Every job is a job. A job is a job. Is AccuStress good or bad for auditioning? What is AccuStress, Karen? I'm curious. What is AccuStress? Karen asks, by the way, Karen has sent me some great song suggestions, so thank you. I appreciate those. But now I'm intrigued. is AccuStress good or bad for auditioning? I feel like AccuStress would be like a pill that you would take to reduce anxiety, maybe. I don't know. Artistic thrills. Commercials are artistic thrills. I don't think that selling an ad would be soul destroying unless you knew the claims were bogus. I could see that, neurogeezer. But the other issue is, I think what Leslie's referring to is that big pharma, just in general as an industry, is our whole healthcare system, including the pharmaceutical industry in this country, is it's too much driven by profit and too much driven by greed and not enough by taking care of people. Oh, intense tension. I see. Is AccuStress. So let me reread that. So intense is intense tension good or bad for auditioning? Oh, it wouldn't be good. But basically, a little bit of nerves is great for performance, for comedy, for whatever. For any time you're getting up, I think, in front of an audience and doing something, a little bit of nerves, they're energizing and they get you really super focused. So yeah, a little nerves is very good. Too much nerves, and then you're shaking and forgetting and sweating and all that. Oh, another Rosemary's Baby reference. Oh, artistic thrills commercial. Okay, yeah, because this, I guess the husband in that is an actor and he's doing commercials. But in your dreams, whatever they be, dream a little dream of me. That's kind of, a lot of these songs we've noticed. The lyrics can be a little pushy, telling someone else what to dream. I mean, let the person dream. And if they dream about you, great. And if they don't, leave them alone. That's what I say. Ba da da ba dee da 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 da. Ba ga 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 ga. We are looking for an opera singer. Do you want to audition for us? Mary, I'm curious to what it is that you are referring, but send me a message. I really haven't done that sort of audition in years. It's been years. It's been years. Yes, Karen, romance can be pushy. That is true. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Missed the Saturday dance. Heard they crowded the floor. They'd have asked me, couldn't bear it. Missed the Saturday dance. Heard they crowded the floor. Couldn't bear it without you. Don't get around much anymore. Thought I'd visit the club. Got as far as the door. They'd have asked me about you. Don't get around much anymore. Darling, I guess my mind's more at ease. But nevertheless, why stir up memories? Been invited on dates, studied da. Might have gone, but what for? Awfully different without you. Don't get around much anymore. All right, I gave that a whirl. I think musically I maybe needed to stick with the late 18th century tonight. Oh, thanks, Mary. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I'm Ethan. This is the No Show. I am Ethan Hirschenfeld. This is the No Show. It happens every night at 9. Oh, I forgot to mention. 2 nights ago was night 300 in a row. So the show began on July 14th as an Instagram show, and about 6 weeks ago it became a YouTube show. But the show has been happening every single night at 9 since Bastille Day. Yeah, some Gregorian chants, Karen. Tomorrow night, I'll go back a little earlier in music history. I'll just bang a stick against a rock and groan. So the show began on July 14th, 2023, and tonight is like night 303. So that's what's been happening. And I meant to mark it, but noticed it after the fact. I'll be here at 9 always, every night at 9 always. When the things you've planned need a helping hand, I will understand always, always. Days may not be fair always. That's when I'll be there always. Not just for an hour, not just for a day. I'll be here at 9 always. Yeah, Karen, this song is about to have a comeback. Definitely. I mean, it's due. The song is 100 years old, so well, it's 99 years old. So I would say next year. By the way, being David Feldman's favorite, oh, that's very sweet of you. In general, please tune in to David's show tonight. Yes, everybody, please tune in to David Feldman's show tonight, the David Feldman Show. He's a brilliant writer, performer, and commentator. His show is really awesome. It's awesome. Kathy says, must watch Blithe Spirit. Blithe Spirit, is that Noel Coward? Who is Blithe Spirit? I should know that. All right. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate your eyes and your ears and your spirits. Thank you for being here. And I will see you here tomorrow night at 9. Sweet dreams.